Welcome to the Inebrious channel. Today we're in Lafayette Park in St. Louis. Wood Hat Spirits has invited us to help collaborate with them on a cocktail to serve at the St. Louis Classic Cocktail Party in Lafayette Park, which is held by the Midwest Craft Distilleries and benefiting the Arts Council of Lafayette Square in St. Louis. This coincides with the last day of their summer concert series, and so I've decided to serve a Ward 8 along with Wood Hat's own Mad Hatton, which I'll demonstrate in another episode. So here's a preview of Wood Hat's lineup: their aged blue corn whiskey, all-American whiskey, Montgomery County bourbon whiskey, bourbon Rubenesque, the Bloody Butcher red corn whiskey, and available in split bottles, their Brew Barrel, which is aged in beer barrels, and Twin Timbers, which is their bourbon Rubenesque aged in pecan barrels. They also make a couple of cordials, both aged and unaged berry cordial, and a black walnut cordial, which is pretty interesting. But first, let's go back to the home bar and cover how to make a Ward 8. The Ward 8 is a pre-prohibition cocktail with 4 ingredients, usually a rye whiskey, but today I'm using Wood Hat Spirits All-American Whiskey, which uses locally grown red, white, and blue corns, and also orange juice, lemon juice, and a little bit of grenadine. In most recipes I've found for the Ward 8, it is the amount of grenadine that is really the variable in amounts of ingredients used to make the Ward 8, but most of the recipes agree on the amounts of the other ingredients. So to put together a Ward 8, grab the glass of a shaker and add 2 ounces of your whiskey, a half an ounce of orange juice, half an ounce of lemon juice, and I'm using a 1/4 ounce of grenadine. This video has also taught me that the color of the grenadine is really going to affect the color of the cocktail. Pour your cocktail mixture into a shaker tin full of ice and give that a good shake. The Ward 8 was created in 1898 in Boston, Massachusetts, and was named after the ward of the city that delivered the winning margin to Martin Lomancy, electing him to the General Court of Massachusetts. So to finish off its creation, we will double strain into a cocktail glass. And you'll see a lot of variances between whether or not to double strain or single strain, and it all depends on personal preference on both how you make cocktails and how you drink them. Generally, you shake a cocktail with citrus, and shaking it creates ice chips. So to keep out the citrus pulp and ice chips, you double strain. And the Ward 8 is generally finished with a maraschino cherry. There you have the Ward 8. And the obligatory taste test. While this cocktail's composition is nearly half whiskey, the whiskey is muted by all of the citrus. It's good, and I can see this as being an overall crowd pleaser and a great basic cocktail. So with that, we made up a sign about the collaboration and went to the park. So I pre-batched a few gallons into amber champagne bottles that I had from the last time I made mead. That way, at the park, all I had to do was speed pour from the bottle of whiskey and the bottle of mix. This worked out pretty well because I ended up mixing a couple hundred Ward 8s that night. I think the best compliment I got from both folks at Wood Hat Spirits and from other distillers there is that the line they saw at Wood Hat Spirits was not just for the quality of their whiskey, but also to get the shaken cocktail that was the only shaken cocktail available at the park that night. We lucked out on weather. It was an absolutely beautiful day, and a whole lot of people came out for the event. Not just for the cocktails, but also for the live music that was happening at the other end of the park. I will definitely be back next year. If I'm not helping out one of the distillers in their booth with a custom cocktail that we've collaborated on, then I'll definitely at least be a customer. Everybody obviously had a really good time. Despite my arms being pretty sore the next day after shaking a few hundred cocktails in one night, the quality of the people I worked with, the spirits I worked with, and the customers that I served, I definitely had a great time. I hope everyone else did too. Thanks for watching the Inebrious channel. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button below and consider subscribing, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications of when I upload a new video.